Okay, sweet. My bad. I was not that was the credits, but that works for an intro too. What's up, everyone? I'm Jay Dreamers. Welcome to another fascinating, exciting, and fun-filled episode of my new podcast, Truth Seekers. This podcast, I invite an honored guest onto my channel. Because I've been an honored guest on so many other people's channels. I like to have others onto my channel and get different points of view from others who are seeking the truth, and have a little discussion. And I invite all of you in to join that discussion. Also, I'm going to attempt to give out free channel memberships to my channel, Jay Dreamers. If you're in the chat during this live stream, and I figure out how to do this, then you are eligible to receive a random free channel membership. All right, so without any further ado, let me introduce my guest, my honored guest. I've been on his channel many times. He's been on mine. May I introduce Tommy Truthful, the leader of the Truth Mafia. What's up, Tommy?
What's up, Jay Dreams? How you doing, brother?
Good. I feel weird not having your little intro with the detective dude. What's that guy from?
Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah, the Unsolved Mysteries AI guy.
Yeah. Shout out to Paranoid American. He made that for me.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
in 1994, a band of truth seekers got together. I don't know. I can't do it.
It was 2023, but yeah, it's tight. He made that up, and it kind of just was pretty cool, so I kept it. I thought it was pretty nifty.
Sweet. Well, I invited Tommy on because, all of us truth seekers have our own areas of expertise, our own areas of interest, our own niches, however you say that. And sometimes our paths cross in certain areas. So sometimes we vibe more with some people and less with others or whatnot. But Tommy and I vibe a lot, quite often, on so many different topics. And a few topics that he's talked about and discussed on his Facebook and Instagram and YouTube channel and stuff are the things that I'll be really asking him to focus on today. That's why I brought you on, Tommy. Is we're gonna talk about giants, Nephilim, portals, and I'm talking about real giants, actual human beings or non-humans that are humanoid giants. We're also going to get into CERN, portals opening up to other dimensions, other worlds, other places, some weird stuff going on with the elite and the powers that be. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the first topic. Giants. What really got me into the topic was when I was studying the Bible in the Old Testament, and I came across Genesis chapter 6, and it talked about the flood and the Nephilim and the giants. And then I came across more giants later on in the form of King Og and or Og of Bashan and whatnot. And then I started seeing all these different giant stories on it. It blew my mind how prolific the stories of giants are ingrained as a motif across every form of research I've ever come across, whether it be as loose as entertainment or as hard-hitting as, religion and actual historic records and stuff, which there are historic records of real giants. But what got you interested in studying giants? Like where'd you first kind of like hear about it aside from just fiction?
Like you, the Bible, Genesis 6:4, and just a little before we get going. Nice shirt, by the way. I like your shirt there.
Back to the Future.
Genesis 6:4. Well, you guys all, if you know who I am, I'm very into numerology and synchronicity, and that number 64 is tied to the nobility. It's a number of the royalty, so that caught my eye right away. I'm like, okay, and these are they say they're the descendants of the Anunnaki. That's what their whole Iron Cross symbol, a lot of their symbolism ties back to the Mesopotamians and Sumerians. So when you really look into it, it's kind of a representation of the Watchers that they talk about in Enoch. And that's what got me into it, bro. Where the fallen angels mixed with man, our women, and created this offspring of the Nephilim. And then I I found your work and in your perspective on when we were growing much bigger during to more oxygen. And I found that fascinating too. I mean, there's so much evidence of giants, bro. These books you're showing right now. I live in Ohio up here now, Jay. I was born in New York, but I'm up in Northeast Ohio, Canton, Ohio, and we have something called the Serpent Mounds up here. And there's tons of legends about giants and giants from this land. They said the Native Americans back in the day came together, and it was like the first time they came together like that, all the tribes, to hunt these giants, because they were, there's different stories. They were cannibalizing their young and all kinds of different crazy stuff. But they said they showed up after a major cataclysm, these giants. And, they were
Right.
pale skinned, red hair, tall, several rows of teeth, 6 fingers, six. So, when I heard that, I'm like, man, that's pretty crazy. And then you look into the Smithsonian and all the suppression they've done, because they've tried to cover this up for a long time with the giant bones.
Yeah, I know, right? The giant, as far as like giant bones and stuff go, because that's one of the first things that I did was, I Googled like gigantic bones. There must be gigantic bones somewhere, right? And I have a feeling. Well, I mean, I've seen evidence of actual gigantic human bones, but they're hard to come by. They're really hard, especially with all of the watering down of the internet with photoshopped pictures and stuff. People trying to get other people's attention and introduce fake pictures of giants, really. So it convinces a lot of people that giants are just fiction, that they're just fantasy, that they didn't exist, that humans didn't exist. And so therefore today, when we think about giants, or when people even like broach the topic of giants, in our minds, most people are thinking like, oh, someone that's like 7 feet tall or 8 feet tall, like that's a giant.
What did you ever hear about? And I mean, well, we have giants, right? Andre the Giant. There was real giants. Like they got tons of evidence of real giants in life. But dude, I have a theory that a lot of these giants went to inner Earth. That's where I think they're at. And did you ever hear of Brewer Cave, bro?
Brewer Cave? No, I don't think so. Tell me about it.
So they found, if you look into Brewer Cave, John Brewer and his son, they allegedly found some giant remains down there, and it's fascinating looking into that. And then they found there's different stories about them finding giants in stasis, and the story of Gilgamesh, whether it's true or not. But they say the real reason we invaded Iraq was in 2003, and this is true. You guys can look this up. In 2003, BBC reported that we found the tomb of Gilgamesh, right? And then next thing you know, boom, we're invading Iraq. They're looting all the museums, and they say they took over that grave site there. And there is, on the Freedom of Information Act government's website, I have it on my website, truthmafia.com. You can just type in Gilgamesh in the search bar, and the article will pop up with all the links you need to find it. And there's a correspondence on there where Hillary Clinton's asking about the resurrection technology, bro. Gilgamesh's resurrection technology.
Really?
So, yeah, man.
Hillary Clinton is asking about that. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, there was some other girl too in the email correspondence. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. She was questioning about the Gilgamesh's resurrection technology as well. So then it started making me think, man, with all these advancements we've came with DNA and everything, what if that they're creating some type of, hybrid army, bro, some super soldier,
right?
With this Nephilim DNA. Did you ever hear that story? When we were over in Iraq, they allegedly found some giant in a cave, and it killed a bunch of them with a spear. Did you hear that story?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, that's crazy too, because that story is one of the more modern ones that also like really lines up and matches with ancient myths and legends of giants across the world, from Ireland to England, all the way to here in the United States, in America. There's a park about 2 hours north of where I am, like a children's park. Remember I showed you the picture of the park,
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
giant park?
yeah.
Yeah, so the whole theme of that park is it's got like these rock giant, this rock giant that's like sunk down into the ground. And like on well, some of these pictures that will be flashing past, I'm standing on top of like these giant rock toes of this giant, and it's the whole park is made to like it's on built on top of like a, a like a drowning giant. Basically, it's like sinking down into the earth, which is what they say about like Tartarus and the giants or the angels that fell and they were locked away down in Tartarus, which is an interesting name because there's a connection with Tartaria, right? And
Oh,
the Tatars, the taters, the potatoes, or whatever you want to call those. Uh, yeah, dude. So the giants. So I have so here's what I want to talk about. Like I like to be balanced in all things, right? So at first, when I started studying the subject of the giants, especially because I began with like more of a religious background or whatever at the time, it was all bad. It was all negative. There were no good giants. Like when I first jumped into this, it was
right.
just all the giants were evil, man-eating, defiling, evil creatures, and that's why the world was flooded. But then I went back and I'm like, well, wait a minute. The Bible doesn't say like the flood came and because there was giants and because it needed to wipe out all the giants. It actually says that there was giants in the earth in those days and also afterwards. This
Yeah,
that's what really started to pique my interest is like these flood waters probably did wipe out a lot of the giants, and I feel like the safest place for many of them to go would be into the earth, into like large cavernous openings,
yeah,
and to escape the apocalypse, to escape the floodwaters from a prior age, and to hide down there, just like giant animals too. So many things inside of the earth are so gigantic. But so while I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that there are many stories of good giants, friendly giants, giants that actually worked alongside humans and animals and stuff and helped out. Many people actually speculate that the giants helped to build like the pyramids and megalithic structures and dolmens, rock houses and stuff. But there's clearly also the bad ones.
right.
There's the evil giants that will eat people, and the legends say, "Beware." They're on maps. Don't go here,
Yeah,
right?
giants live there.
Yeah, stay away from these areas. So that kind of takes us into the realm of the Nephilim, the Nephal, the fallen ones, right? We sort of associate them as being fallen or fallen from grace or basically evil or bad. But there are bad ones, and specifically the Nephilim, right? And you've done a few videos about the subject of the Nephilim, and my question for you would be like, what's your theories on like what the reasoning for the governments trying to like work with these evil giants or bad ones, like I know you mentioned creating like super soldiers and stuff too.
Yeah, yeah, but probably their technology is what I'm thinking.
Mm.
Because they had. I mean, there's legends of them having advanced technology, and you hear all these different stories. My boy End Time Matrix Productions, he's got a channel on YouTube. He's been in the game for a long time. He did a video where he interviewed a bunch of these guys, and he was supposed to interview this guy Stan Deo, and when he went down into the underground bunkers, he said that they had to sign some paper down there, like you couldn't use the name Jesus Christ down there. And I'm not even religious, but they said that you couldn't say that name down there, and that these entities were called the Nephilim, and they were like giant humanoids, right? And I think that's where we're getting a lot of this advanced technology and what they call aliens. Maybe them are the Watchers or the fallen angels, the Anunnaki, or what we call the fallen angels. And I'm not even saying they're all bad. I really don't know, but I think the government's working with them for the technology, bro. 100% is what I believe. That's my theory on why. And plus, yeah, the genetic modification. I mean, you look into the Anunnaki, right? And Enki. Ea, the master geneticist. He was the one that was splicing all the DNA, and they were creating different forms of humanoids. I mean, they're still doing this today with the splicing. Now they got CRISPR, so they can even do it to a whole nother level than before. But that's probably just recreated technology that we've had or lost technology. I mean, I think we've been way more advanced than we are now. We're probably way more advanced, bro. Like the government has way more technology than they let us know we have. You know what I mean? Your audio, Jay, you're muted.
My bad. I think that's one of the reasons why, thank you for catching me, why they're so interested in the hollow earth, or the inner recesses of our world, because there's worlds down there, and these are the places all outside of this surface where we live. Everything seems to be gigantic. All the legends that indicate beings that floated down or came down from the heavens, they're gigantic oftentimes. Beings that come up and then off to the sides, depending on a person's cosmology. My cosmology has a dome wrapped around our world, and there's probably peripheral worlds off to the sides. But that would be Antarctica, going off to the extremes of our world, whether it be the Arctic, right, or Antarctica, in order to try to like contact these beings or entities, giants, aliens, and maybe even like demonic ones too, which is takes us to like the topic of CERN and stargates and portals.
Yeah, that's
what do you know about that? Tell the people like you never talked about it before.
Well, first off, I'm going to start out with this. Let's go back to Aleister Crowley, guys. In 1917, right? He does the Amalantra workings. And the Amalantra workings is these rituals that he does, contacting this entity named Ayahuasca. And by the end of the ritual, it's like a 3-day ritual, which started on April 8th. And remember, April 8th this year is when we had the eclipse. It was April 8th through April 10th. So I found that fascinating. And he did this ritual where he's in contact with this entity, Ayahuasca. It's a different entity than Lamb, too. These are two totally different entities. And Ayahuasca, at the end of the ritual, he pretty much identifies this thing as pretty much Satan, but it was also worshipped in ancient times as Horus, has a head of a falcon, this entity that he was in contact with. Now he trains, his protege was Jack Parsons, and Jack Parsons was he worked for this he worked for the government for this rocket research program where they said he died in some lab accident, but anyways, he carries out Crowley's work, and he does these magical workings called the Babylon workings, and it's to bring forth this moon child. Now, after Crowley does the Amalantra workings in 1917, we have the Armenian genocide, which was the biggest genocide of Christians ever, right? And then boom, Parsons in 1946, he does the Babylon workings, where he opens a portal to another reality, and that's when all the aliens show up. 1947, boom, Roswell happens. The Majestic 12 set up. The whole shadow government thing comes in. And I think that's when our government decided to start working with these entities, bro. Back then, when they opened up some other reality, they're getting advanced technology like life extension technology, zero gravity technology. And then CERN, it's some type of like the Tower of Babel. I don't think they was really building a building like we've been told. I think it was some Stargate technology, bro. And they're trying to create, it's a lot like you say, they're trying to escape this realm, but I think they're trying to open up doorways to other realities too. What they call Dimension X. You hear many different theories.
Yeah. Well, that reminds me of the Ninja Turtles.
Dimension.
Krang always trying to open up Dimension X and stuff, or a portal or a gateway to the same thing. And then what they always show in the movies, because I always do truth in movies, is that every single time it's like some sort of a government or secret government or something that's trying to do this. And in the movies, at the very least, because I consider the movies to be prophetic in nature, they open up that window, but it's both ways. And creatures, aliens, entities, energies come through into our world. more so than those who want to leave here and space travel or,
And
travel.
even that Iowa's name, if you guys are in the chat right now, look where Kimberly wrote it out, Iowa's. It looks like AI was. I don't know, maybe because you hear about them speaking to these archons too, these interdimensional entities that are kind of reptilian robotic entities. So I'm wondering if it's some type of AI consciousness that they're interfacing with. It makes me wonder. But we were talking before we went live about that ritual that they did, bro.
Yeah.
At the Gothard Tunnel. That thing, if you don't know what that was, guys, you got to check it out. It was unreal.
Oh yeah. Oh, let me put it up on the screen. We'll skip through different parts of it. And I'll have you talk about it.
It's pretty.
So tell the people like just the gist of kind of like what it was, like what this tunnel is and stuff, and then what they did.
Yeah, it's by CERN, right? And they had this opening. It's pretty much a ritual where you see the Baphomet, this goat head entity there, and you'll see as they're climbing up the screen on the outside of it, you see them opening a portal, and then you see the people sacrifice themselves to this portal, like right there where he's climbing up. They sacrifice themselves, and they're playing out a ritual is what they're doing. I mean, it's the most symbolic thing I've ever seen. And then you see them open up a portal in it. They open up a gateway. So some people get sacrificed. And remember that conspiracy, what they call conspiracy, about somebody being sacrificed in front of CERN. They said it was just a prank or whatever, but then the series Evil season 4 episode 1, they did one about the Hadron Collider, but it was in New York, and they played out that same exact narrative where some girl got sacrificed and thrown into the hole to open up the portal, and the portal was at turn 33, which that 33 number is very symbolic too. That's where the fallen angels allegedly brought the knowledge to man on the 33rd parallel, Mount Hermon, and which was a portal. If you go look at Mount Hermon, they got a UN building up there with a giant 8-pointed star, right? The 8-pointed star is a representation of portals. You see it connected to Nibiru. CERN has the 8 bars going around in the side. Nana's name in cuneiform is the 8. And this goes back to the 8 primordial creator deities known as the Ogdode. They had heads of frogs and heads of serpents, these entities that, goes back to Egypt and the creation story. But it always seems like humans were always opening up portals, bro, and trying to talk to some reptilian type entity, is what it seems. I mean, look how this is the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
I remember when it first came out, I'm like, what is going on here? And this came out in 2016. So 216, which is 6 times 6 times 6, dark matter. That's what that equals in Sumerian gematria, which is what they say they're trying to harvest over at CERN. This antimatter, this dark matter. That could be another reason, bro. They're going into these other realities because the energy over there, like that dark matter, that antimatter, they got to store that stuff in these huge facilities, just small quantities of it. And bro, this stuff makes nuclear weapons look like child's play. They could make a bomb out of it, or it could be used to power up a whole city. You know what I mean?
Right.
It could be used for good or bad. It just depends on whose hands it's in. But they say if humans come in contact with it, it like brings all the evil out of them. I mean, look at these people.
Come on. What is going on here?
I don't know. If that ain't demonic, I don't know what is, bro. I mean, it's like, what?
Okay, so check this. This is a tunnel. Hold on. Let me jump on the screen here. This is a tunnel, everybody. Just a tunnel. Just a tunnel. That's it. Oh, it's not some special tunnel. It's just a long tunnel that goes through the mountain and it carries people or supplies or whatever.
A train.
In Switzerland. It is in Switzerland, which is also interesting, right? But this is just a train tunnel. This is not that big a deal. Okay? Like, who cares? This is not super newsworthy, and it's definitely not worthy of this like huge Fab, you should hear the music. I mean, clearly
That
this is
tunnel is
extremely
connected
sexual
to.
too.
Oh, it's
My
so sexual.
God,
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Jesus.
come on, dude. You know, it's
Oh
so
my God,
sexual.
I got
And
scared.
so that tunnel's connected to CERN too. That Gothard tunnel. I forget how them two are connected, but there's a connection there between Gothard tunnel and CERN. So, you know, that's why like it went viral back when it first happened. And if you watch the whole thing, it's long, but it's crazy, bro. It's like the craziest ritual. They have these entities come out that look like bushes during it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So them are in African cultures, they have this thing called summoning the jinn. And it looks like the same thing, bro. One of them bushes, and they put this talisman under there and get this jinn to manifest underneath of there,
look at
and
that.
stands. Yeah, they sacrifice themselves.
Yeah, and then they drop them. Remember, you were talking.
Oh,
You pointed this out in your video. Tell me what's happening right here.
well, that's them. That's after they sacrificed themselves, falling into the portal. You know, like they're falling, and it's the same thing they showed us in the new season of Evil, season 4, episode 1. The same thing. Someone got sacrificed and thrown into this portal. So some type of offering that they're offering into
Yeah,
open up the gateway.
and you see those how there's hands, like giant hands that are reaching out
Yeah.
all around this portal. Check it out. See all those giant hands up there?
Giants, right? Wait,
That,
one of them hands is as big as the whole body. And dude, that reminds me of I don't know why it reminds me of that, but it kind of reminds me. And look at this; these disembodied spirits rise up out of it. It reminds me of that movie Cabin in the Woods.
yes.
Bro, they used to have to sacrifice things to the ancient ones, these big giants. So you would have to appease them to keep them from rising up. If you didn't do these sacrificial offerings, these rituals, and they had to play out in a certain way where the virgin, she had to go last, right? But she had to be,
Yeah.
if it didn't finish with her, then the giants would rise and destroy Earth. And at the end of it, you know, they end up rising. You see this big giant hand come up out of the ground. And I mean, it's just massive, dude. I wish they'd make a sequel to that.
Yeah, they're sacrificing in order to try to like prevent the apocalypse, but they also worship like these evil giants that live inside the earth, which is also seen in what was that movie? The Eternals, right? Remember that?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was a good one too.
the Titans being born within the earth
Yep.
or whatever.
Yeah, man. They were trying to birth Tiamat, remember? So to birth Tiamat, they had to sacrifice like all of us. Everybody on Earth had to be sacrificed to birth one giant eternal named Tiamat. And they get that Tiamat, that goes back to the Anunnaki too. You know, that goes back to
What the
Mesopotamian,
hell?
Sumerian stories. Plus, Tiamat was in the new King Kong Godzilla X. That's what Godzilla ate, Tiamat,
Yes.
to turn pink, bro. He got that pink plasma power.
Here's those hairy entity things you were talking about.
Yep, that they represent the jinn. So that's like a representation of this demon, right? So I mean, it's so demonic, the whole thing, when you really study symbolism and know what it means. It's crazy. But the elites, they understand this. They speak symbolism as good as me and you speak English.
Oh my God. So check this out, dude. Hold on, let me jump back in here. There's this part on the video, all throughout this video, right? I was studying this video for like 2 hours this morning, and all throughout this, like, there's parts in here where people, the whole thing is just like it's.
Did you see what the
You
giant?
might as well have a sign that says like, "This is a ritual." Like,
Yeah.
we're conjuring the devil. Just like, you know what I mean? Like, this is not an opening ceremony to like commemorate a tunnel that's finished being dug or whatever, unless it's a tunnel to hell.
Yeah, it might be.
Fudge.
It might be a freaking tunnel to hell. Did you see that giant like Nephilim babies that they look like baby angels?
Oh yeah.
Big heads.
Yeah, I got those on here.
They
This
were
this this devil thing also, like, basically like they simulate sexual stuff, you know, like they're basically doing it on stage, like quite a few times.
Yeah,
Let me see if I can find those baby heads things.
they're very heavily into sex magic. You know, Crowley used to talk about it. It's one of the most powerful forms of magic, using sex magic. So they like to perform that sexual energy on the world stage a lot. They use it in marketing too to entice us to buy things. So they use the same type of magic on us, what they do with programming us to buy certain products. It's all done with sexual energy. But yeah, Crowley was real into the sex magic, bro. And that's what they're doing right there. It's definitely very sexual, right?
Yeah, I like this dude's wearing like the head of an ibis or a goat basically, and he just goes around like humping different chicks on the
Right.
stage. And then these people walk out and they're holding these upside down trees. Like
Yeah,
they got all these weird staffs, but they're actually like trees that are just upside down with the roots in the air. You see that?
yeah, that is kind of strange.
Yeah, check that out. So it's like upside down trees that they walk out with. And they're just, who are these people?
Well,
And
they
look,
love inversion, Jay. You know that inversion. So I guess that could represent that, right? The inverted
the
reality.
like,
See the inverted tree? How that's kind of a representation of the tree of life, but it's inverted.
yeah.
So, you know, what in Stranger Things, what do they call this other reality and through the portal? The upside down. You know, it's kind of crazy, man. And there's parts that they call inner earth, that the upside down, or the whole as above, so below.
Oh, this part. Watch what he does right here.
This is so nuts.
Bam!
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You see
yeah.
that?
Yeah, he's
That's
straight.
insane.
It's so insane, bro.
And then this chick too. So this is a chick, a woman. Sorry, this is a woman dressed up as same thing as the devil. It's like a chick devil, a female devil. Listen, I was raised in the '90s. Okay, so I say things like chick sometimes. All right, you have to let that go. Anyways, so this girl right here, dude. Oh my god, like I don't even know if I could show you like a close up. This is pretty in your face right there, but man, if you
Graphic.
like the whole thing she's wearing is basically see through.
I don't even know how it went, and it was on all the YouTube channels, but like it's never been, you know. But that's how
Yeah,
if me and you would put a video on like this, it would get taken down so quick. But they let that go because that's the energy they're trying to put out there. You know what I mean? That
if
was a
it if
major
it's a
ritual.
movie, I just would have walked out. Like I've walked out of some movies because they were just they were too base or grotesque or just whatever. And if it was a movie, I just would have walked out. But like, this is a huge production. Like for the people that have not seen this, this is a huge, gigantic production. They had professional, like military band playing and stuff. They had these drums, and the music just sounds like the soundtrack to a horror movie. This is not like some happy celebration of like, oh yay, our tunnel's done. Look at that. Like, you
They
see
all
that?
yeah,
Yay, the tunnel's done. Let's all run in slow motion and grab each other's faces and have
and,
sex on the stage and all kinds of weird stuff.
and look at their faces. They all look demonically possessed. And what's up with these three dudes with the big heads?
Yeah, let's check them out. I don't know.
They are very strange, dude.
It's like they're all running away from these dudes.
Look at the big headed dudes.
Yeah, I don't even know who these
Never,
people are.
I never really got that part. I couldn't figure it out. I was like, man, what do they represent? And then you got the penguins. So there's this crazy penguin narrative. And it ties into the whole code red thing, what we were on lockdown for a while. If you remember the first lady that took the you know what over in Covington, the UK, she had a giant penguin on her shirt. And there's this like crazy penguin. You know, they use symbolism a lot. So there's a whole penguin narrative. My boy Anya Soru and Donut did a deep dive. Donut Factory, shout out to him. They did a deep dive on it. Illuminati penguins, they called it. But it was pretty fascinating.
Yeah, hold on. I think I'm done sharing that. So the penguin also, like, because I broke down Batman Returns, and obviously the penguin's one of the main characters, and you also were talking about that show that features the penguin.
Oh, so good, dude. Yeah, it's on HBO. The Penguin, it's got its third episode out. It kind of goes more from a mobster perspective. You know, he's in the mafia, but
Yeah.
it's so good. It's got that like soprano vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But like there's black and white symbolism with the penguin,
Yep.
obviously, right? And I've found that black and white oftentimes corresponds to space travel, dimensional travel, leaving this world essentially and going to other worlds. You know what I mean? I see a lot of that when it comes to this black and white checkerboards or whatever. It's crossing over. That's why, like at the finish line, they have the checkered flag because they're crossing over the finish line or whatever. And then like the penguin in Batman Returns, at least he's fixated on umbrellas. You know, like there's the whole umbrella connection, like Umbrella Academy.
Well, the umbrella too. If you hold it upside down, what's it represent? The Iron Cross, bro. Did you ever look at Resident Evil's umbrella?
Yeah.
And then Wuhan, the biolabs, where they said that thing came out of, their symbol is the same as Resident Evil's, the Umbrella Corporation, the identical symbol, bro. So that ties back to
Hold
that.
on, let me look that up. What is it called? Wuhan
Biolabs. Look it up, bro. That's gonna blow your mind. It's the same freaking symbol. I think it's a different color. It's like blue, maybe blue and white, but it's the same symbol as in Resident Evil.
Oh, Wuhan.
Yeah. Wuhan Biolabs.
Wuhan. Boom.
That's where they said it came out of.
Okay.
You see the symbol?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Hold on. Let me put this on the screen. This is insane.
It's almost identical to the Umbrella Corporation. And remember, in Resident Evil, they created like this zombie virus that, turned everybody into freaking zombies. You know, so it's kind of weird. Just like I Am Legend, they turned into zombies, not from the cure, or not from the actual disease, but from the cure of it. That's what turned them all into them super soldier zombies in I Am Legend. And dude, I Am Legend, them zombies were on another level, bro. Remember, they weren't your slow zombie.
Nah.
These ones were like running. Dude, them zombies scared me in I Am Legend. That was a pretty good one. Look at that, guys. Bam. That's the Iron Cross right there. You know that, Jay. And also, the Iron Cross has 8 points on it, just like the 8-pointed star if you're counting points. So it goes back, and that symbol right there, that's like one of the oldest symbols for the representation of Nibiru, right? The cross like that.
Yeah.
Planet of the Crossing. So these elites believe that they're descendants of this bloodline. And January 26th, by the way, that's crazy that is dated January 26th because that's tied to Raccoon City, guys. And look, he literally shared that on January 26th, and that was the day Kobe Bryant died. And he was buried in Corona del Mar, remember?
Yeah, that's right. Holy cow, that's crazy, dude. With all the different connections, the umbrella, the penguins, the black and white symbolism, the portals. And they also say that, like, some people speculate that the United States was trying to get into Iraq to find a Stargate.
No, I've heard that. And
they bum rushed the libraries.
Them.
And museums and stuff.
One more thing on the umbrella. The Jesuits actually have the symbol, and this is the military branch of the Catholic Church. They actually have the symbol of the umbrella too. And what it represents is they can only be brought down from within. Because how do you take an umbrella down? Only from within. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of symbolism. But yeah, back to the Stargates. There was tons of rumors that's why we really invaded Iraq, due to the Stargate technology, that them were the real weapons of mass destruction. That Saddam Hussein, he thought he was like the resurrected Nebuchadnezzar, and he pretty much was like, "Yo, I'm about to use this Stargate technology," and we couldn't have that, so we had to go over there and take it over. That's the theory of it, anyways. And what's up with Switzerland, bro? Like where CERN's at? They've never been in a war ever. Nobody's ever touched them. It's like, what is going on there?
It sounds like a headquarters to me.
Yeah, it's very fascinating. No one's ever touched them. They've never been in a war. A lot of people say it's the seat of Lucifer there. And where CERN is built on is an ancient temple that goes back, way back. It was called Apolloseum, the Temple of Apollo. And if you look into Revelations 9:11, it says releasing Apollyon, also known
Right.
as Abaddon, from the star that falls down and opens the key to the abyss and releases this entity named Apollyon, Abaddon, the destroyer of worlds, which Shiva in front of CERN, that's what Shiva's known as. A lot of people think Shiva's a female. It's not, it's a male. And he is known as the destroyer of worlds. His trident destroyed the three worlds, but then he brings in the destruction, and the other one, Brahma, I think it is. I'm not sure on that. I might be wrong on that, but one comes in behind him and recreates.
Yes. So we've got the three main gods, or the sort of trinity in Hinduism, is Shiva, which is the meditating, waiting, destroyer of worlds, Cthulhu kind of,
Yeah, that vibe.
entity or whatever. Not evil within Hinduism, obviously, has many followers and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you have Brahma, who is seen more as like the original creator god, the one that really is like the all-encompassing top god or whatever. Or I mean, there's different people.
Kind of like Zeus. He's
kind of like that.
Zeus, right?
And then you have Vishnu, and so Vishnu is really interesting too, because Vishnu plays the hero. Vishnu plays like the hero stereotype, where Vishnu comes in oftentimes, makes appearances in human form, or like incorporates himself into our world. So Brahma is the one that sort of creates the reality. Vishnu jumps into those realities and sets things straight after Shiva goes through and corrupts or destroys the different, worlds or whatnot, time and time again. It's all very cyclical.
And what about Krishna?
Krishna, I believe, is an avatar of Vishnu. Let me double check that.
Yeah, double check that one. And then, Shiva, the destroyer of worlds. Ain't that interesting that that's what they call Nibiru, bro?
Yes.
Nibiru. There's so many connections between Shiva, Nibiru, CERN, that 8-pointed star. I'm wondering if it's all one and the same. Some type of dimension that they open up. I don't know, man. It's fascinating. It says, one of your people said Krishna is an avatar of Vishnu.
Yes, so I double checked. That's correct. Up here I've got specifically, he's the 8th incarnation or avatar of Vishnu, who descends to earth to restore Dharma. Now it's also interesting to me too. I love, like, Hinduism was probably, outside of Christianity, the first religion where I started diving into all of their stories and backstories and lore and myths and legends and whatnot, because it reads like a comic book. Like,
fascinating.
All the Vedas and the Bhagavad Gita and all these, ancient stories from ancient Hinduism.
The elephant god, Ganesh. Then they have the monkey god.
Yeah.
To the whole monkey pee narrative. And one thing I'll tell you guys, people are all like, man, what's up with all this monkey symbolism, with what's going on in society with the whole monkey pee. I'm not going to get into that, but America was founded under monkey energy. If you're looking into Eastern astrology, which is what the occult really uses. And so the America was founded in 1776. That's the same year the Illuminati was founded, 5/1 of 1776, by Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. And that was the year of the fire monkey in the Chinese lunar calendar. And then another major year was when they rolled out with that whole polio situation in 1956, when people started getting that in their arm the first time. And that was the year of the fire monkey as well. So there's this whole like fire monkey narrative, tied to America and this whole monkey archetype. And then, like, if you look into different countries, Israel was founded under the goat energy, and the monkey and the goat are like best buddies, so you kind of find out, wow, that kind of plays out in real life with them too. America's always protecting Israel. So it's kind of interesting when you look into that. It makes me wonder, did they set it up that way? or did it just happen organically like that? You know, fascinating though. You're muted, brother Jay. You accidentally muted yourself again.
Shoot, thank you. All right, so I feel that personally, like everything is connected. I've been looking for the grand unified conspiracy theory. Like that, there every time every avenue I go down, doesn't matter if it's the moon landing, JFK, you know, anything modern, anything ancient. Like I start seeing these connections that they have, like branches of a tree, you know, and that's why I, you know, I write these books and talk about the plasma apocalypse and stuff, because damn, it sure the hell to me seems to connect every freaking thing. Like,
it does. I mean, when I first started looking into the whole plasma apocalypse thing after I found your work, and you know, it blew my mind how many things are actually tied into that, and it's almost like everything. And then I start thinking, wow, that's what these people are. These elites, they're protecting that ancient knowledge of this event, you know, the Great Reset. And
yeah.
I think we're going through it again, bro.
Oh, yeah. I've got one of these pictures of these giant statues. I put giant statues as well. That's something that like is in our subconscious or is being done purposefully. But giant, huge, titanic statues across the world that they just keep getting bigger and bigger. One of these statues is like doing the Illuminati hush, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like people talk about all their hand signs all the time, but I don't hear a lot of like, what is the secret? You know, people will speculate, oh, it's this, oh, it's that, oh no, it's this, because that's the subject they happen to be talking about.
Yes.
I'm like, there's a world secret. There is a main secret that's being discussed. Like giants, they're secret. These are taboo. You don't talk about giants. You don't talk about gigantic humans. You don't talk about these things because there's implications that are involved. If we open up Pandora's box, other things are going to come out besides hope and love and the things we're looking for. Monsters are going to come out. You know, dark shadows will come out of our history, and a window into our future.
And the one thing you'll never hear them talk about is like these cyclical events. That's like the thing that'll get you killed, you know. And it seems like that's what they're really trying to protect, and all the symbolism ties back to and everything, man. It's kind of crazy. And like right now with speaking of these cyclical events, I think we're in one, because all of a sudden we got two moons. Although since they said we had two moons, I haven't even seen the one moon. So I'm thinking the moon's missing. I don't know. I'm about to put out a search thing for him, you know.
Right. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna jump onto the screen myself here. Real quick.
What's up with the Aurora Borealis, bro? My 41 years, I have never seen it from the United States. Now I see it every other night.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Hold on. Remind me of that in just 1 second. I'm gonna do a quick plug here real quick. All right. So everybody who's watching right now, I did promise that I would be giving away free channel memberships. So if you're in the chat right now, I'm gonna go ahead and give out a few J Dreamers channel memberships to show my appreciation for everybody who showed up today. So if you're in the chat, I'm sending those out your way with love from me to you. It looks like it worked. All right, sweet. So congratulations to everyone in the chat who picked up a channel membership. You've unlocked special emojis you can use in the chat, as well as members only videos, special ones, especially like on location videos that I do, and just special stuff that I like to share with the Good Vibe Tribe. Also, I want to say this. There is a link in this video to my younger brother, Adam. He was on the last episode. He's made it into like the final. He's got like 3 more rounds for the Face of Horror competition, basically a popularity contest. But if he wins, he gets $13,000 and a chance to be in a horror movie. And he gets to do a paranormal investigation with the guy who plays Jason Voorhees in the movies and stuff. Kane, I forgot the dude's name, but you know. But anyways, if you guys want to vote for my brother, you get 1 free vote every day. And tonight is like sort of like the deadline for him to stay in first place. It's been back and forth between first place and second place all day long. If you want to vote for him, click on the link in either my community section or in this video. And you do have to have Facebook in order to like actually vote. So if you don't, that's fine. Thank you for your well wishes. But if he wins, then I'll just be super happy for him, because I'm very family oriented. I love my brother and my children and stuff. So I just wanted to give him a shout out too. Congratulations to everybody who just got a free channel membership. And Tommy, I also was wondering, wait, what were we just talking about that I told you to hold that thought?
The Aurora Borealis. But yeah, shout out to your
Oh.
brother. And dude, give me that link before we end this, and I'll share it to my whole community on Facebook. You know, I got
Okay.
14,000.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Thank you.
Well, for your brother, let's get him in that movie, man.
Okay, so yeah, for sure. I want to jump in there too.
Bro.
Maybe once he's in, I could be in the background or something.
Yeah.
I could be one of the people that dies or something.
Yeah.
Like,
No, a zombie or
Cabin
something.
in the Woods Part 2.
Oh, dude,
Be on the lookout.
That'd be the. So, what's your theory, Jay, with the Aurora Borealis?
Oh, it's in flux like crazy right now. So I see Mother Earth as feminine. You know, like the energy from the earth is, to me, more feminine in nature, and the energy from the cosmos tends to be more like sort of masculine. But Mother Earth is in flux. She's getting ready to give birth, just as Mary gave birth to the light of the world. Then Mother Earth is also going to give birth to actual physical lights, and we're seeing that now. We always see glimpses of what is to come. There's always heralds. There's always those who come before the king. Before the king comes, there's always those who come before to announce or to warn or to caution or to let everyone know, so that there can be no questioning and there can be no, I didn't know, I wasn't aware, or whatever. Nah, man, the king's on the way. The world's about to change. There's going to be world war. There's going to be cataclysms. There's going to be every insane, crazy instance from every movie you've ever come across. And science fiction is going to become science fact, and fantasy is going to be your new reality. You know, I mean, for me, reality is fantasy. This is a weird, crazy, upside down place. But the auroras are fluctuations in the electromagnetics of the Earth's field, its natural fields. And you know, they don't really teach that these days in academics and in high school and colleges and stuff. They keep all of this important information that's energetic in nature, you know, limited, so that you can be an electrician or, you know, have a slave job or whatever. But they don't teach us about the cosmology that's involved and how it relates to the entire Earth, and how, if we go back in time, we can see how and why things like the Carrington event could be so disruptful to our technology and to ourselves. These things, when you see the auroras reaching way out, the word aurora means glowing. It means lights, you know what I mean? And this is the glory or the glowing of the Lord or of God, however people see their different gods and stuff. But when it reaches out this far, believe me, it doesn't have to come all the way down to the ground to affect us. We resonate with it. Whatever's happening with the earth, we will also resonate with what's happening with the earth. So when the earth is going into flux, the electromagnetic field is moving and fluctuating and releasing all these gases and stuff from deep within the earth. Humans will reciprocate. Humans will go into flux. Humans will be all over the place, and there will be no solid foundation any longer, as everything will be chaotic. And because the earth is being chaotic. And when the earth starts to become chaotic, these are the omens and the signs that, man, you got me all hyped up on like the plasma stuff, but we're experiencing this. You know what I mean? Like, the signs are everywhere.
There's a video I seen the other day, like 2 days ago, of the Aurora Borealis above the Golden Gates. And that was pretty fascinating. Like, oh boy.
Yeah. Oh, just wait, dude. It will stretch across the world. Like, the auroras will be everywhere at some point in time. This is what I believe has happened in times prior. Like for example, during the Dark Ages, and what that was the time of light. The Freemasons, when they inscribe onto their cornerstones and whatnot, they don't write, "This was made in 1902 AD." They say AL, which is Anno Lucius, which is the year of light. What light? Is it just symbolic? It's the light inside of all the Freemasons. No, it's light when the world was lit up from within, not from without. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, man.
And this comes a lot, oftentimes in the form of plasma and stuff. And I think that people like Tesla tapped into this, knew about it, and researched it and studied it. And it also goes back to like Tartaria and our ancient architecture, even clothing. Did you see that video I did about lightning rod fashion?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what do you think about like when the reversal happens and that energy that's in inner earth that's keeping these people living for all these thousands of years, right?
Yeah.
And that reverses and comes up here. Then you have all these stories and myths about these entities that came up during the harvest and harvested humans. And then if you watch Godzilla versus King Kong, they got the Scar King, and they say that's my boy Dominic. Shout out to Dominic. He's from Indiana. Me and you did a podcast with him on Egypt and America before, but he said that whole story comes from, you know, them stories where this entity that's caged in inner earth comes up every so 1,000 years, and he tried to like wipe out all humanity at one time, and they had to cage him down there. Did you see the new Godzilla Kong?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I thought of you when I watched it.
I watch all of those Godzilla and Kong movies because, man, they're just it's all the esoteric right in our face. Like it's no longer esoteric. Like it's they're just showing us, it's disclosure. Like movies today are basically disclosure.
And how did they get up here, Jay? Through a portal.
Yes. Portals inside of the earth that go down into the hollow recesses into other worlds. And oh my God, it's so interesting because like if in my research, I've come across so many different books from over 100 years ago. So anywhere for any book that was written, I'd say from like mid 1700s to early 1900s, there's many of them that were originally written as travelogues, as fact, as an actual historic account. But whenever they were published and put into libraries and stuff, they were categorized as fiction over time. And a lot of these talk about going into the earth itself, into the hollow recesses of our world, describing it. And one of the things they describe is gigantic beings, gigantic humans, or humanoids.
That story, I'm trying to think of the name of it. Olaf. You know what I'm talking about?
The Smoky God. Yeah, that's one of them for sure. So that one starts off by saying this is a real true story, right? There's that one. I mean, there's so many different ones. But these people, they give an account of having gone into the earth and met giants. Now, here's the question I ask. Are they giants or are we tiny? Have we shrunk? Are we so depleted of resources and oxygen, and the pressure is pushing in and increasing in a closed system that we live in, that we're constantly getting tinier and tinier and tinier until the time comes where everything is reset and goes back to the way it was, which is we become gigantic once more, which will then be the norm. So nobody's going to write about giants in a time where everybody's a giant.
Yeah.
They'll write about tiny people.
And bro, speaking of inner earth and them entities, if you watched The Fall of the House of Usher,
I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh, it was really good. It's a series. It is about this family that, you know, was built a pharmaceutical company, and like they just destroyed America with pain pills, kind of like they really did, you know. But this family, there was this entity that they made a deal with so that they could get to the level of power that they got to. And they made this deal with this entity in a bar back in the 70s. And they ended up killing their boss and like bricking him up in a wall. He was like their sacrifice.
Right.
But this entity, it's a girl. She keeps showing up, and you don't know what's up with her at first. And then she's talking to Pim, which is like the family's fixer, lawyer / hitman guy. And he went on this boat ride back in like the 40s or 50s with all the richest people on the planet. And they went all around Antarctica and everything. And she said, "You seen me back then when you were a young kid." She said, "I came up from under the ice from inner earth, and you seen me that day on the ice." And nobody caught that part of the series, but you know, that entity that was making these deals with humans and then would come to collect on it, she was from inner earth.
Yes. And that's another concept that I see all the time too, is there's a time differential from up here on the surface to those that go to the Garden of Eden or Hyperborea or down inside of the bowels of the earth, they experience time differently. Oftentimes people will say, well, we thought we were only gone 2 weeks, but when they get back, everyone's like, oh my, you were gone 2 years, like
Yeah.
there's a time differential because the metabolisms change. And because metabolism is changing, we experience time in different ways, just like a dog. Like they have dog years, every one of our years is 7 dog years. So dogs are on fast forward and they just have super fast metabolism. I mean, not all of them, right? But little tiny dogs like mine. I'd make a trip for 20 minutes to the store. And when she gets back, she's so excited to see me. She's like, where have you been?
Yeah,
Like,
it's forever for her.
You've been gone forever. You know how long you've been gone? And I'm like, what? It's been 20 minutes.
I was thinking about getting a dog. I grew up with dogs and stuff, but I haven't had one lately. But I need a little buddy, maybe a cat or a dog. I don't know. Thinking,
If you want a little buddy, I recommend a dog.
Oh yeah. My boy Donut's got a cat.
If you want something to constantly judge you, then get a cat.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm more of a dog guy myself, but yeah, I was thinking about getting.
But yeah, I was gonna say, because you were talking about like the omens and stuff like that too, right? Giants are going to return. There's going to be World War. There's all this rumors of World War III, especially right now because Israel is fighting. Who cares? I don't really care. But that's not the original Israel to me. There is a God's land. There's a holy land. There is a city of peace, and therefore it's peaceful. And to me, that's not the place in the Middle East. But anyways, my point is there are prophecies that indicate that a nation known as Gog or Gog and Magog are going to rise again. And these are giants, according to the legends and the myths. These are gigantic, strongly possibly cannibalistic tribes of humanoids that rise up out of the earth or seem to rise up out of the earth, just like Atlantis reappears. And what's that King Arthur island also that like Avalon, right? So Avalon, Atlantis.
How about New Brazil? You ever hear
New
that?
Brazil? Yeah. I just saw a video. Somebody did a video about that.
Yeah, High Brazil shows up off like Ireland every 7 years. And
yes.
So that's another one. They think maybe it's like that Kong Island, Skull Island, where it's comes from Earth. You know what I mean?
It's exactly like that. Listen, oh my God. Like I love talking about Phantom Islands and stuff. Oh man, there's so many good ones. Like there's so many good stories and people are just like, that's just a Phantom Island. It's so easy to dismiss things that, are not established by mainstream academics or have a stamp put on them by, those who are approved in this world. When in reality, if we look back over the long course of history, that's the majority of studying and research and belief systems and whatnot. Today's little modern world that we live in with technology and all this stuff that we have over the past maybe 100 years is the minority when you look back across the grand scheme of time. You know what I mean? Going all the way back to the beginning. If you go far enough back, you're looking into the future. There's Antiquitech going far back. There's magic when we go far back.
Yeah. And they say the distinction between magic and technology when it gets so advanced is, hard to tell. But yeah, it seems like back then we knew how to do a lot more than we do now, right? Like it's a lot of this has been lost.
Yeah. The people seemed to me to be healthier. They try to say, oh no, the average lifespan was like 30 years old, and people were even shorter back then. Look, here's one example of a knight's armor that's like 4 feet tall or whatever. Like I see the opposite. I see people as being much healthier the further back in time we go. Yes, of course, there's exceptions and anomalies, but people were gigantic. Every religion talks about the gigantism of their patriarchs and forefathers. Islam has that. Have you seen like that shawl of Adam, of the prophet Adam in Islam that they have like this? It's like, they say Adam, like, Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
Adam was 60 cubits tall.
Wow.
And they have this huge like t-shirt, like how in the Middle East, they have like pajamas, like
they have a
pajama t-shirt.
It looks like it's like 20 foot tall.
Yes.
The tomb of, like, was he enough for him?
And these were they made temples. There were smaller people, right? Just like, okay, so when we transition into the next apocalyptic cycle, gigantism will return. But that doesn't mean that all of us who survive immediately just we grow to gigantic sizes. This is something that happens, and beings grow into that world. So many of us will keep our short stature. We'll be extremely dense and have super strength and other things like that. So we get gifts. There's certain gifts that we inherit
Is that when
being
that
survivors.
the vapor canopy thing comes back during them periods, or?
Yeah, I think so. So for me, I see, this is what I like. I always try really hard to investigate what I would consider to be the science and research behind these fringe concepts and theories and ideas. So many people have talked about the vapor canopy or whatever,
Yeah.
but not many people on my path, right? And my path is very limited. But on my walk, I haven't experienced too many people saying this is where the vapor comes from. Like, where's all this fog come from across the world?
No, you don't
It's
hear no one break it down like that.
depressurization. The atmosphere quickly and rapidly depressurizes. If we live in a closed system, pressure is building up, which gives us weather patterns that we call pressure systems. And when the firmament, the dome above, rips open, our atmosphere will essentially explode out into the heavens beyond, or space, or whatever people want to see that as, right? And because you have this rushing and leaving of all of the atmosphere, it depressurizes and it creates the mist in the actual air. So just like if you're on an airplane and they depressurize the airplane at a high altitude, you'll see just fog just appear out of nowhere.
Yep.
I got videos on my website that depict different examples of this. But this is where the mist comes into play. Just like Stephen King's The Mist, right? The mist will roll down from the mountaintops and it'll descend and it'll cover everything during the next apocalyptic cycle, which is apocalyptic means to uncover, right? It means to take the cover off. The dome is being removed, or cracking open or blowing out. And at the same time, it coincides with the moon splitting, because the moon is a projection of a portion of the dome above us. But anyways, that's where I see like this fog coming in. And when this comes in, this is the time when the doors open, when the gates of the heavens and the stargates are actual physical barriers, right? I'm not talking about like magic or energetic ones. I'm talking about actual physical barriers, as well as invisible. Like there's force fields in the form of electromagnetism, but they go down. This is a neutral point, right? Everything is shifting. The North Pole is shifting. It's moving. And whenever it gets to that neutral point, that middle point, electricity is gone. All of those electromagnetic barriers go down. There is no magnetism holding in and pushing in all of the gases in our atmosphere that are opposed to a strong magnetic force, which the earth has and emits and contains all those gases with that force, right? So all those gases rush to the top and boom, they explode out of the top. And our atmosphere starts to be released, exactly like in Total Recall, actually. The whole Total Recall is the story of our ancient past and our future that lies ahead.
The new one's really good. The new Total. And what's up, girl? That's one of my moderators. She's a good person there, Jay.
Who is it?
My Cherie right there.
Oh, I got to catch up in the chat.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to give out 5 more memberships real quick on my channel. Why don't you take the floor? Hey, do you have something that you want to share? Like any kind of, visuals that you want to share with people and share your screen?
I didn't really have nothing prepared for tonight.
That's fine. Yeah, we don't have to.
But yeah, I mean, what I'm looking at right now is just like all these anomalies with the weather. We just had Hurricane Milton after Hurricane Helene, and me and you talked about how maybe some of that, a lot of it I do believe is man-made and controlled, a lot of it, but could some of it be due to these anomalies that we're going through, these global resets, right? And another thing I found fascinating, there's this article that talked about CERN shutting down back in 2016, and it was supposed to be causing all these earthquakes and natural disasters happening. That was the conspiracy of it. So then it goes back online. Well, we went back online in 2022, but then it shut down again, and then it goes back online this year on April 8th, right when we have the eclipse. CERN's back online.
Yeah.
And ever since then, bro, we've had natural disaster after natural disaster after record amount of earthquakes, record amount of tornadoes, a record.
Yep.
It's
fires.
All the fires are blazed. Nobody's even talking about these fires right now because all the hurricane stuff.
Yeah, though, I mean, the world's catching fire, which is also reminds me of another movie. Say that again?
Maybe that could be the plasma.
Well, okay, so I can explain that. I have an explanation for that as well. Here's my perception, right? It's not so much the plasma that's going around electrocuting things or setting them on fire. It's the gases that are combusting. So so check this out. Deep inside of the earth, let me go way back, as a matter of fact. So, God, every time I talk to you, dude, you get me so excited about all the things that you bring up. Anyway, so, and I like that you ask questions too, like genuine questions. So check this out. Going way back to the last, to the ancient time that we've all forgotten about and that's been hidden from us, the gases within the earth rushed upwards as the world depressurized. It's not just the surface world where we live that depressurizes. It's also the hollow earth. That depressurizes, and there's gases that are being created down there, and those gases release. They rush up at high velocity through cracks, caves, volcanoes, and wherever they can get up, they push through. And because they're pushing through, it creates static, and that static electrifies the gases and they become ionized or whatever, right? But some of those gases, like methane, especially methane, they're combustible. So when they come up, they create pockets, gas clouds that oftentimes are invisible to most people that have no idea that there's huge gas cloud of some kind of foreign gas. They just think it's homogenized mixed air, everywhere, when it's not. We can't see, those spectrums or whatever. Some animals can or whatnot, but like those huge gas clouds, gas pockets will be released in different places that I dub places of power. These are places where energy escapes the earth, gases and electrical currents and stuff. So these huge amounts of gas come up, and they can become ionized, which gives rise to earthquake lights, because you would imagine if a bunch of gas is just coming up out of the earth, it's probably going to loosen up the rocks down below, and it's going to cause the earth to fall in or move, or, create earthquakes. And so those gases, some of those ionize, and we see lights in the sky that precede earthquakes or happen at the same time or sometimes afterwards. Yep. But other times they combust. They come up into different places. They might hit, a power line or a fire or whatever it may be that sparks them. And those gases explode real quick. Just like if you ever see like a balloon. Sometimes when I was in elementary school, they would do these science experiments, but they had like a balloon full of combustible gas and they would light it on fire, and it's very hot, very quick, and it can easily set things on fire. So we see a lot of these fires happening in places that specifically have inner earth entrances in the forms of either volcanoes or cavernous systems, like in Greece. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
They have all these underground caves and tunnels and stuff like that. So I that's how I think a lot of the fires are starting. I'm not against, the idea that people might start them occasionally, but I'm more inclined to believe in Mother Nature's power and potential to do these things that we take credit for as human beings.
Do you think, I put a link in the private chat too to the Aurora Borealises. They said they're going to be visible from the United States tonight. So speaking of them, that's very interesting. And do you think these gases could have an effect on humans, like making them act crazy like the dark matter does?
Yes, they will and do have an effect on us. Everything has an effect on us, but especially the gases that we breathe. So let me give you one huge example, right?
Nuts right now, bro.
Yeah, I know people are going nuts, and it's gas, but it's also, the electromagnetic spectrum.
Yeah, no doubt.
and stuff too. But for example, one of the effects that gas, like if a huge pocket of gas, or just a gas cloud, I like to call them, floats through your city, It depends upon the gas, but it will have an immediate effect on most of the inhabitants of that city. So, for example, they had in recent times and going all the way back through and to the Dark Ages, they had these dancing plagues in different countries where people, pockets, tribes all over the place would just start dancing, and they would call it the dancing plague. People couldn't stop dancing. They also called it the jitterbug. When someone caught the jitterbug, they're going through convulsions because of gases, you know what I mean, that are being released in their local areas or whatever. And like they just start convulsing or dancing or sometimes even laughing. There's laughing plagues. People can laugh to death. They
Like,
couldn't stop laughing, and their people would be crying. They're laughing so hard and stuff. Like nitrous oxide, obviously, like would
like the
has
Joker, the new Joker, that movie, he's always laughing and stuff. Yeah, and yeah, you definitely would think them gases would have an effect on us, right? And all the electromagnetic energy that's changing.
and the animals as well.
And bro, we're having all these crazy solar flares right now, like
Yeah,
major ones. Major. We
there's
just had one today that was crazy. I've been watching them too, because that's having an effect on everything, the weather. And they want to keep our attention on stuff that really don't matter, like the election. No, it doesn't matter. We're none of our votes count anyways, so who cares? I don't care about none of that stuff. I don't care. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
the Republican, I'm a pro-life
election.
conservative, but I mean, yeah, whether Trump or Kamala wins, I really don't care.
Well, you're making a good point though about acknowledging the omens that are evident, especially when they're worldwide, when there's things happening on a worldwide scale. People are seeing not just the auroras, but weird auroras,
Yeah,
strange anomalous forms that they call Steve, or like just a long red ring around the whole world.
I seen that one. I seen a red ring around this in this one video. It was like around the moon, a crazy looking red ring. And then the other night there was a video going viral, bro, right before Milton hit. Like it was probably Milton hit in the middle of the night, like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So it was like a couple hours before that. They seen some crazy lights in the sky right over that area where Milton hit. And then there was like a 28-foot wave too, bro, before Milton hit. Did you see that?
No.
A massive wave. Yeah, it was on the mainstream media. There's a video that went viral on it. I mean, this thing was huge. We'll probably get hit with some type of massive tsunami during these events, something that's just
Yeah. Well, the oceans are warming up, and so when the ocean, I mean, at least that's what I hear, right? I haven't gone into the ocean for a long time, but if the oceans are warming up, water expands when it warms up. So the sea levels would naturally rise, and the waters would rise, and this would create more momentum and more push on waves and stuff inland. And then if you indeed have more gases being released, and then the Earth adjusting for those release of gases in various places all across the world, here on the surface, that manifests in sinkholes and stuff. But out there in the ocean, whenever you have all that, it produces waves and anomalies in the ocean and stuff. So it's becoming a very dangerous place, the ocean itself. And I say this all the time on my Omen segment: the ocean is not blue any longer. When we go through these color spectrum shifts, whether it be the sun, the atmosphere, the introduction of rainbow colors all over the place or whatever, these color spectrum shifts are indicative of the times that we're passing through. Like the 70s, for example, decade was very kind of golden, yellowish kind of a color associated with it or whatever. Fudge, I forgot my train of thought. The ocean color, it's green. So just so you guys know, like the ocean's green now. Over 50% of the ocean has been reclassified as no longer being blue, it's green. And the Great Lakes are turning green here in the United States. And there's harmful algae blooms that are popping up all over the place, and red tide.
I'm right up by I was just about to say that. I'm right up by Cleveland, by Lake Erie. And yeah, you get that red algae. That's just, that stuff is deadly stuff right there. And by the way, Jay, today is the 1010 portal. You know about that? The 1010 portal?
No, tell me.
They're supposed, well, it's just like you got the 8-8 portal, the Lionsgate portal. It's just supposed to be a time of amplified energy. And the 10-10 portal, which gets into the number 1, which signifies beginnings, leaderships, independence, creativity. So it's supposed to be a time of amplified energy. And it's kind of interesting during like that Lionsgate portal thing on 8-8. That's when the Lahaina situation took place, right? And that was in the 808 area code on 8-8. The same day Trump got raided on 8-8. A year prior to that, and Trump equals 88. But there's something with the numbers, just like a sigil can hold an energy or frequency. These numbers, they hold specific energies, frequencies, and vibrations. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool that today is the 10-10 portal, and we have all this crazy anomalies going on with the solar flares, and it makes me wonder back to CERN, because there's this theory that they're trying to merge reality with this other reality right now. There's that whole theory, and them merging, that's where the Mandela effect comes in, from this other timeline bleeding into ours. Have you ever heard about that? So like some people, you're muted again. Some people remember
Damn it.
it's all right. Some people remember things differently, bro. Like the Berenstein Bears spelled differently than it was really spelled, how I remember it growing up.
Yeah.
The Forrest Gump, life is like a box of chocolates. Like there's a bunch of stuff, bro, that they're saying never. Oh, this is my favorite one. So they say the Fruit of the Loom never had the cornucopia on it.
That's garbage. It sure did.
It sure did, dude. I know it did. And I'm going to find a shirt one day because I know my grandpa has to have one. Because that's all he used to rock when he went to bed, his pajamas, the Fruit of the Loom. So I know he's got dude, I vividly remember it with the cornucopia. So I wonder, are they gaslighting us, or is this really bleeding in?
There's something of substance to this, man. The Bible verses that have been changed.
Yeah.
Like there's things that people, the world across, large pockets of people know. Not I'm not talking about like there's different like levels to the Mandela effect. I don't know how to describe this, but there's like hardcore, no, this is the way it was. Something changed, something is screwed up with time or reality or something. And then there's like, ones in the middle where it's like, yeah, I guess it, people might have remembered like that. I can't remember if it was like that or not. And then there's ones way at the bottom where it's like, ooh, I don't know. I feel like, that's always the way it's been, or there was 2 different brands at the time, and you were only aware of that one, or you know what I mean, stuff like that. But those hardcore evidences of the Mandela effect are enough to get any person, like those are great icebreakers.
Yeah, they're fascinating. Like that Sinbad movie.
That dude was definitely a genie in a damn movie.
Yeah, I clearly remember it.
Yes.
Like, no, you don't remember that. You remember Shaq and Shazam. They're telling us it was Shaq. So I do remember Shaq in that movie too.
Yeah.
But I also remember Sinbad as a genie.
Dude, that's insane.
And they're like, no, it never happened. The movie never happened. But then there was I need to find a video, but somebody found like a VHS tape of it. And then it went viral on TikTok, but then they said it's fake. Who knows? With AI these days, you can make anything.
It's got people have to find their own Mandela effect. You know what I mean? The one that affects you personally.
Yeah.
It's like if someone, like for example, if I met somebody and he's like, I'm going to tell you the craziest thing, man. Like, I know my middle name is James, but I checked on paper and it's Jacob, or you know what I mean, like whatever, like different name, like Smith or something, who knows, right? And like to that person it's mind-blowing. To anybody else they're like, oh yeah, that's weird. No, you don't understand, my middle name is not what I have known my whole life or whatever, right? Like it's personal.
You have your whole middle name changed. And my Cherie, happy birthday, happy 40th birthday, sweetheart.
Oh hey, yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you, the 40th. That's a big one. I passed that one up already. So
yeah, me too.
My 42nd.
Welcome to the club.
January 17th, my 42nd birthday. So, man, it's not fun after you always waited to get to 21, and then it's like, I wish I could go back now, Jay.
Dude, if I'm correct about the plasma apocalypse, when we get past the reset point, lifespans will be extended. So when you live to be 1,000 years old, I promise you, like, your birthdays are going to have less significance, and you'll probably forget how old you are or whatever, especially when you can't keep track of time because everything is shifted and changed all over the place. You know what I mean? Like, this is depicted in movies too. Wizards never know how old they are. Like, they never know.
Dude, that'd be so cool if we make it through that point of it to where we, like, if we actually get to that point where we're going to live another 1,000 years due to everything changing. That'd be so awesome.
It will be beyond awesome. It will be empowering.
What about the Fantazoids that are going to show up?
Yo, man, I was thinking about this earlier when we were talking about giants and stuff and architecture. I had a theory a long time ago that the Great Wall of China was built to keep out Fantazoids. And damn, I've turned on Netflix and there was a movie called Great Wall, and I checked it out, and there was monsters, and they had built it to keep monsters out.
That's a great movie, by the way.
I was so happy when I saw that. It was like God confirmed my suspicions. Like,
oh yeah,
personally, because I didn't know about that movie. Like this, I had these ideas way before that.
Yeah, it was phenomenal, that movie. Yeah, I was thinking about that when you just said that. I was like, man, wasn't there a movie where they built the Great Wall to keep the monsters out?
Yeah. So gigantism, there's beings in other places that have gigantism, or they continue to grow to larger sizes and stuff because of their environment. It has everything to do with their environment. Also, their food that they intake and stuff like that. But our environment is what keeps us small. Our food and the things that we have here was what keeps us small. All we need is a change of conditions, and we will go back to growing to gigantic sizes. Now, in academics, if we could look back far enough, even academics talks about the great oxidation event, where suddenly there was like 2.5 times more oxygen the world across, and it's been locked away in ice records and trees and all this other stuff. And this was the time of gigantic animals called the megafauna, and gigantic plants, and gigantic insects.
Wasn't there another element too during that time besides just oxygen, though, that we were breathing?
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different ones. It's similar to what we have now. It's just that there's way more of it. So there's argon, there's nitrogen. You know what I mean? There's other gases that are released. But like I said, the Earth
suffocating now, bro. You know that?
Say that again?
We're kind of suffocating now. Like,
we are suffocating.
We're supposed to have this little bit of oxygen. That's probably why we're so small.
Yes.
Life extension so terrible.
Yes, but the good news is that it's destined to return back to the start. That's why it's called a reset, right? So let me tell you right now, like, I started to say this earlier, but I got distracted. So when these beams of energy are rushing throughout the earth, they're energy, and there are certain metals that absorb energy, and there are certain crystals that absorb energy. So if it's near or placed within an energetic current, it will absorb that energy. So these become precious stones and metals and crystals that basically glow. They're so energetically strengthened by the earth itself, right? I mean, you can imagine, like, let's say you put like a crystal that can absorb energy, and you just put it in a cave that for 1,000 years has ionized oxygen plasma rushing past it and around it. This is going to be a crystal that is very energetic and quite possibly will glow and give off its own light, right? And metals do this too as well. So these metals and these crystals are very energetic in nature and very life-giving as well. But whenever that energy is taken away, now the energy only exists within the crystals and the metals. And that energy has a half-life. It has a shelf life to it. And whenever it starts to decay, we now call that radioactive decay. Deep inside of the earth, when those crystals and those metals go through radioactive decay, it gets worse and worse over time as they start giving off that energy and releasing it. becoming empty and emptying themselves of that ancient energy. Once again, we call it radioactivity. But when it does this, it creates these gases. All these gases are being created, and it also heats up the earth. And we see an influx of lava and eruptions from volcanoes and stuff. And all these pockets of gases are being released. Anyway, so oxygen will eventually be released once more with other gases as well. But that will help us to grow to gigantic sizes once more. But more specifically, our children, their children, those who are born into that world.
Yeah, and speaking of crystals holding energy, I think we used crystals back in the day for some type of energy source, because I watched this dude do an experiment, bro, where he hooked electricity up to a crystal and that damn thing started glowing, bro.
Yeah, that's right.
Glowing for real. And then there's this other guy. He was a professor at, I forget the school, but he did some experiment in his house, and like an hour after he did it, he was running power into these crystals, and then so he got it to put out like 10 times the power that he was putting into it. And the next thing you know, his house gets raided by the feds. You ever seen that?
No, I have not seen that.
That's a real story. You can research it. So you end up getting raided because they don't want us to learn how to have that type of free energy technology where you can take something and put a small percentage of energy into it and then 100 times the output. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oops. My bad. I'll get to that in a second. But speaking of crystals, this is how we'll end today's chat. I'll go back to being dad and cooking dinner and stuff like that and let you get to your day. You also have like different types of crystals and healing, energetic, natural healing minerals and stuff on your website too, right?
Yeah, we do over on Truthful TV.
I'm gonna give you the floor. Go ahead and give the people all of your information and plugs and stuff, and talk about it and how it's helpful and can be beneficial to them.
Yeah, we got some amazing stuff over there on truthfultv.com. You can check out our shop. We got different necklaces that block the EMF microwave radiation. We got Organite. Organite is a really good one for that. We also have obsidian, and all the ancients, the Aztecs, the Mayans, they love this obsidian, and obsidian is said to ward off negative energy and black magic. And then over there, we also do these decodes where we break. You guys see I'm like obsessed with the numerology stuff. So gematria, this goes back, it's a form of Jewish Kabbalah mysticism, and the elites have this secret language tied to these numbers. Now, what Jay believes we live in an enclosed thing, I believe the same thing. I just believe it's some type of simulation, right? It's an enclosed organic simulation. So we all have a source code tied to us, our first and last name, and we do the decodes where we break that down for you. They're $26. It's all done via email. That's one of our more exclusive ones right there.
That looks cool.
Yeah, I made that image. That's into the 12-strand DNA. We break that down, what your superhero archetype is. And I'm going to have to do one of them on you, Jay. I want to see what superhero you're tied to. But yeah, we do them breakdowns, guys. And it's all done via email, and it gets sent to you. So you can book one of them over on truthfultv.com. That's one of my other sites. I also own truthmafia.com, but truthfultv.com is where I do all my booking and stuff like that. Truth Mafia is where my boy Jay Dreams got a channel. Donut, this is where I put some of the best content creators in the world together. And it was to originally just combat censorship. And so we could all work together and, do videos like this for you guys. Because I was like, man, it would be cool if someone could get all these big names together to do videos and give their perspectives on things and have roundtables. And so, I was able to put that together. I thought it was pretty cool. We've had some epic podcasts. You've been on some of them, Jay, like the They Live one. That was a really fun one. Remember that one?
Yes.
That was a fun one.
If it's a movie, I'm almost always up for decoding the movies.
Yeah, you've been on a couple real good ones with us, but I'm going to do another big epic one. I'm trying to get everybody together for a Survive the Apocalypse one.
I'm there. Count me in.
I know you'd be in for that, man. But I just thank you so much, bro, for, inviting me on tonight. I always love your vibe. Your people are so nice. Shout out to Donut. He's in the chat right there.
Hey, what's up, Donut?
Yeah, Donut just put out a new video too, guys. Go check it out. He's got 2 new videos over on his YouTube, Donut Factory. So go check him out. Good stuff. He did a really good job on that Elon one. I know you got some slack for that, bro, but you knocked it out of the park. I liked how you connected the whole Saturn thing. And I left a comment and a breakdown in your newest video you just did, the live on Milton. I broke down the number 83 for you, so check that out. But yeah, man, it's pretty cool to, you know, bring all these amazing people together. I
totally agree. I think we need. I'm really focused on doing that more, on coming together and taking our puzzle pieces and getting together to have a meeting to see what fits and where it fits. Ultimately, everybody holds a piece of the puzzle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We just vibe more with people who have pieces that closer match our pieces. And the more we get together, the more we'll be able to find those pieces that are further away that we can connect to and build bridges to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, it's just fun to learn different people's perspectives, and you know, everybody don't have to agree on the same thing, but it's cool to have that conversation. You know, it doesn't have to be an argument or a fight. We could just, you know, I love hearing other people's perspectives, bro. I don't want to be stuck in an echo chamber where I just hear what I believe. You know, I want to be challenged, my belief system challenged, so I can look outside the box, and I think it's awesome. But yeah, your vibe, Jay, has always been really high, and your people are super nice. So I always love coming over here and hanging out with you, bro.
Well, it's good to have you. Everybody always likes having you as a guest as well. Even whenever I share like my appearances on your channel and stuff. I'm gonna say goodbye. I want to give my brother one more shout out if I could figure out how to share this on the screen. So this is the website, Face of Horror. This is my brother Adam, and this is his picture. And he's currently, I refreshed it. He's currently in first place with a few hours left to go. I want to say thank you personally to everybody who has voted for him. It's just a popularity contest, you know what I mean? Like, but he is an awesome horror fan, huge one. He also has been a paranormal investigator. You know, I had him on the show last week or whatever. This is a podcast that I'm doing, Truth Seekers, where I'm gonna have guests. I'm trying to get as many new, fresh faces as I can right now, but eventually I'm going to have, you know, like repeat guests and have people come back to really get their perspective, their puzzle pieces, their breadcrumbs that are going to help me to find my way home. And then hopefully we can all benefit from that. Just like everyone in my chat, the Good Vibe Tribe, everybody comes in, they add to the conversation, they add in the form of their experience and their research and thoughts and theories. And I love that. I love the coming together and the teamwork aspect of all of it. So I'm going to go ahead and run the credits, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us on today's episode of Truth Seekers. Until next time, I'm Jay Dreamers. And Tommy, you want to say goodbye real quick?
Yeah, we're out, guys. Thank you. Thanks for having us. And Jay, you got to get Donut up on here on Truth Seekers, bro.
Good one. Yes. Remind me, okay? Remind me.
Yeah, I will.
All right. We'll see you next time. All right, let's get this. Boom.